Good Morning America.
Travel crush. Millions of Americans heading home from the holiday weekend. The record-breaking numbers on the roads and in the skies. The busiest travel hubs and when to hit the highway.
Piling up. Mountains of trash on the streets of Philadelphia due to a strike between the city and blue-collar workers. Both sides back at the negotiating table this weekend. The sticking points for a contract deal.
Rip current threat, with Tropical Storm Chantal taking aim at the Carolinas. The advice about staying safe in the water and the common mistakes to avoid.
Summer savings. Amazon Prime Day isn't until Tuesday, but some deals are already live, with competitors launching their own super sales where you can shop and save.
Making a smash. The Americans through to the round of 16 at Wimbledon. Former tennis champ James Blake joins us live from the All England Club, looking at what's ahead.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Sunday. Good Morning America.
Ooh, that good music on a Sunday. Good morning, America. Good to see you. Janae's off this morning, but it's so great to have Stephanie Ramos here.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you guys on this Sunday morning.
And it is a busy Sunday morning. We've got the latest here on tariffs that are coming up. The president saying he's sending out letters to some countries about rising rates tomorrow. So we're going to look at what the impact could be of that.
We've got the floods in Texas, also a tropical threat. Let's get to Samara Theodore with more on that. Samara.
Good morning, Whit. Yes, those visuals devastating coming out of Kerrville, Texas. About 100 miles to the northeast. Come with me now to Georgetown, Texas. The San Gabriel River saw a foot of rain, turning a lot of the side roadways into riverways as well. Currently, we do have flash flood warnings in places like Hilda, Texas. From San Angelo down to San Antonio, a flood watch is in place. So the rain is going to persist through today. We should start to see the flooding winding down as we head through the overnight hours, but we do have more rain on the way. Meanwhile, on the East Coast, the tropics are alive. We've got Tropical Storm Chantal that has made landfall, now moving inland into Charleston, South Carolina is where it made landfall there. And you can see this is a pretty lopsided storm. So a lot of the heavier rain bands are situated to the right, whipping into places like North Carolina. Parts of South Carolina will continue to see that. As a result, we are anticipating some flooding. So be mindful of that and very strong winds. We'll have more on the tropical storm coming up. For now, Stephanie, back to you.
So much to look out for. Samara, thank you. Today is expected to be the busiest of a record holiday travel weekend. We have team coverage of the skies and the roads. First, let's check in with ABC's Faith Abube at Atlanta's Hartfield-Jackson International Airport. Good morning, Faith.
Yeah, good morning to you, Stephanie. It's already been a record-breaking stretch for the TSA, and today could be another one for the record books. Take a look behind me. Traffic already slowly building here at the TSA checkpoint. Early birds here to catch those flights to try to avoid any potential hiccups that may come up throughout the day. Now, today we're expecting nearly 3 million passengers to pass through TSA checkpoints across the country. More than 370,000 of them will either take off or land right here in Atlanta. The TSA is seeing strong demand for air travel. In fact, 6 of their busiest days in history have all been within the last 6 months. So what does that mean for you? If you're traveling today, expect the airports to be packed. The busiest will be in cities like Orlando, New York, Seattle, and of course right here in Atlanta. The good news is so far this morning, FlightAware not showing any significant problems. However, we have had more than 10,000 cancellations and delays across the country since Friday. So keep that in mind. The best thing for you to do is to keep your eyes on those airline apps and, of course, arrive at least 2 hours early for your flight. Stephanie.
Some good advice. All right, so Faith has the skies covered. Let's check in on the roads. ABC's Morgan Norwood is here with what you need to know about the rush home. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. It is get out day for everyone looking to get home. And for the millions of Americans that are hitting the road today, Tropical Storm Chantal is threatening to complicate that ride home, dumping rain across parts of the southeast. This morning, AAA is projecting more than 61 million people will drive this holiday weekend. That's up more than 1 million from last year, with today being the busiest day. Let's talk about what's driving the surge, though. It's really the gas prices, right? The national average right now, just $3.14 a gallon. It is the lowest that we've seen since 2021. But look, the return will not be easy. Expect delays, especially in major cities like New York, D.C., Los Angeles, Boston. And experts say traffic peaks between 2 and 6 p.m. So your best bet is to hit the road early this morning, now if you can, or wait until after 7 p.m. tonight. A couple of other quick tips before you go. You want to use map apps like Waze, Apple, Google Maps to really dodge real-time delays. And if you still need to fill up this morning, morning is usually the best time to find the cheapest gas.
Well, let's not send people home now.
No.
Let's do that after GMA.
Yes.
All right.
We got to get the viewers, right?
Thank you so much, Morgan. We appreciate it. We are going to turn now to the latest on tariffs. President Trump says that he has signed letters to about a dozen trading partners that he will send out tomorrow. So what could this mean for the cost of goods right here at home? ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang is following this from Washington. Good morning, Selena.
Hey, Gio, good morning. The bottom line here is get ready for more tariffs. President Trump says starting tomorrow, he'll be sending letters to countries around the world, setting the individual tariff rate that each one will face, and about a dozen letters are expected to go out tomorrow. So for some context here, let's just step back a little. Remember that back in April, President Trump had imposed these steep tariffs on scores of countries. But after the markets tanked, President Trump reverse course and pause those tariffs for 90 days to allow for negotiations. Since then, very few deals have been announced and businesses have been left in limbo, unsure just how much they're going to have to pay for imported goods. So now Trump is saying, though, that these tariffs could range from 10% to a staggering 70%. That is even higher than the rate that he initially proposed. So the question here is, what's the reason for the change? Well, President Trump says there's simply too many countries to negotiate with, and that sending a letter is easier, Gio.
A lot to follow there, Selena, but also we're following that major bill that passed, what the president calls the big, beautiful bill, of course. So what can you tell us about this? Can you walk through some of this with us? Who benefits, who doesn't?
Yeah, Gio, well, there's a lot to get into. This bill is nearly 1,000 pages long, but analysis from the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office finds that the wealthiest Americans will benefit the most, while the lowest income households could lose critical support. So first, if we look at taxes, this bill extends President Trump's 2017 tax cuts, and then workers who get tips or overtime will get a temporary tax break. But it also puts new caps on the amount that students can borrow in federal loans, and it phases out tax credits for green energy.
And what about health insurance? Because so many people are talking about health benefits being impacted here.
Yeah, and this is absolutely critical. Experts say that this is the biggest rollback in federal health support in history. The bill slashes funding for Medicaid, which is estimated to force 11.8 million Americans off of their health care coverage over the next decade. And health experts, Gio, say that the biggest effect there will mostly come from work requirements, not because people aren't working, but because the added red tape and paperwork could cause people to lose their health care. They also expect people to lose access from local health centers shutting down. It also makes it harder for people to get covered under the Affordable Care Act, and it further cuts funding for food assistance programs, Gio.
All right, so much to work through there. All right, Selena Wang, thank you so much for your reporting.
And Gio, President Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill is now poised to kick his immigration crackdown into high gear. The measure injecting a historic $170 billion into detention and deportation efforts. It also adds funding for the border wall and $100 billion for immigration and customs enforcement, an effort to meet Trump's goal of deporting 1 million undocumented immigrants this year. And stay tuned to This Week. Later this morning, George Stephanopoulos speaks exclusively with Steve Myron, chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, and former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers about the potential impact of President Trump's mega bill. Plus, Dr. Richard Besser discusses the potential effects of cuts to Medicaid and food assistance programs. Stephanie?
Now to that ongoing strike in Philadelphia, significantly impacting essential services. The city and union workers are back at the negotiating table. ABC's Olivia Rubin joins us with the sticking points for both sides. Good morning, Olivia.
Morning, Stephanie. This strike has now stretched into its 6th day. Day 6, that's a long time. And despite these ongoing negotiations, there still doesn't seem to be any progress on a deal.
This morning, trash continuing to pile up on the streets of Philadelphia as negotiations between the city and its largest blue-collar workers union remain deadlocked.
Everybody is upset, and everybody's dumping their trash here.
Both sides heading back to the negotiating table this weekend for the first time in days, but still no new agreement to end that strike workers taking to the streets once again. That union, known as AFS-CME District Council 33, representing over 9,000 workers, including some of the city's most critical, including trash collectors and 911 dispatchers. Now, some of those essential employees have been off the job for nearly a week after walking off on Tuesday at 12:01 a.m., calling for better wages. Shut it down! There's no indication on how close the sides are. In negotiations earlier this week, the union seeking a 5% pay increase each of the next 3 years.
Our place right now is 555 over the course of 3 years.
The city's mayor, Sherelle Parker, saying she's offered more than a 13% pay increase over her 4-year term, calling it, quote, historic, but also warning there is a limit to how far she will go.
I will not put the fiscal stability of the city of Philadelphia in jeopardy for no one.
But pressure on the city mounting. Celebrity performers LL Cool J and Jasmine Sullivan backing out of the city's 4th of July celebration, saying they're standing with the workers.
There's absolutely no way that I could perform, cross a picket line and pick up money when I know that people are out there fighting for a living wage.
Now, there's no indication of what exactly came out of those negotiations yesterday or when they may resume. Tomorrow, for those counting, would be day 7. Gio.
Philly watching that very closely. Olivia, thank you so much. We're going to turn now to the Middle East, where hopes may be fading for a ceasefire deal. Israel rejecting the changes Hamas wants to make to a U.S.-backed deal. This with the Israeli Prime Minister set to visit the White House. ABC's Inez de la Cuetada is in London with the latest now. Inez.
Good morning, Gio. Yes, ceasefire negotiations facing a new setback, with the Israeli Prime Minister's office saying in a statement the changes Hamas is requesting to make are unacceptable to Israel. This comes after Hamas said it had submitted a positive response to a 60-day ceasefire proposal backed by the U.S. that would see the release of 10 living hostages and 18 hostage bodies in exchange for the release of a still undetermined number of Palestinian prisoners. But Hamas wants any ceasefire deal to lay out an end to the war, something that so far the Israelis have not budged on. Meanwhile, the violence continues. 2 Americans working with the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation were injured on Saturday when 2 grenades were thrown at an aid distribution site, according to the GHF. The workers are now in stable condition. The GHF has been tasked with managing aid distribution in Gaza. Their practices, though, have been widely criticized. According to the UN, more than 500 Palestinians have been killed over the last 4 weeks while on the way to collect food at GHF sites in Gaza. Now, this week, the Israelis are sending a team to Doha to continue ceasefire negotiations, while the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be meeting with President Trump in Washington. Whit.
Inez de la Cuetada for us, thank you. And here at home, a troubling new milestone as measles cases surge to record levels. Johns Hopkins University reports 1,277 cases have been confirmed so far this year. That's the highest number of cases since the disease was declared eliminated back in 2000. Health experts say the bulk of the cases are linked to a large outbreak in West Texas. 3 people have died from the measles this year.
Now to the big baseball series heating up on the diamond this weekend. ABC's Ashin Singh is in L.A. with the highlights. Good morning, Ashin.
Morning, Steph. And there's nothing like a little 4th of July weekend baseball, is there? As teams gear up to head into All-Star break, the MLB season is starting to get serious, and we had a slate of potential World Series matchups that felt like appointment viewing. Heading into Game 2 of the Subway Series, the Yankees were losers of 5 straight, and they were not able to right the ship at this one against the Mets after some sloppy baseball that felt emblematic of the series for the Yanks. Take a look at this video right here. Star outfielder Aaron Judge getting hit in the face while walking off the field by a throw from teammate Anthony Volpe. Judge returned to the action with no major injuries. But after the Mets' Juan Soto's big night on Friday, it was all Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso. The pair, behind a grand slam and 2 home runs respectively, drove in a total of 9 runs, giving the Mets a resounding 12-6 win following Friday's comeback victory. And right here in Los Angeles, it was a matchup of recent champions and current division leaders. The Dodgers looking to to make up for a historic loss against the Astros on Friday. The 18-1 loss, the worst in Dodgers Stadium history. Superstar Shohei Ohtani was on the mound for LA. And while this game was much closer, the Dodgers could not get it done despite a pair of RBIs and a homer from Miguel Rojas. And guys, both series will look to cap off later today with first pitch for the Yankees-Mets at 1:40 Eastern and Astros-Dodgers at 4:10. Guys?
All right, Ashin, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Coming up here on Good Morning America, a 3-car accident causes an explosion at a Utah strip mall.
Wow, incredible video. And it's deal time. A look at some early Prime Day sales and the other stores that are slashing prices to compete with Amazon.
Plus, as the final week of Wimbledon gets underway, former tennis champ ESPN's James Blake joins us live with a look at how the Americans are faring in the tournament. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to GMA. That's Louis Capaldi belting out his emotional new song, Survive. The powerhouse single is climbing the charts right now, and he will be right here on GMA tomorrow morning singing his heart out for a summer concert series.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, so talented. That's going to be great tomorrow.
Definitely.
Live and in person. But first, we've got the top headlines for you that we're following right now. Flames erupt at a strip mall in Utah following a 3-car crash. Police say the cars got into an accident in Harriman. One of those cars veered off the road and slammed into a building, the vehicle bursting into flames, triggering a gas leak and an explosion. All the drivers are being treated for their injuries this morning.
A sad story here. The bodies of 7 people have been located at the scene where an explosion ripped through a fireworks warehouse. Towering flames leveled the facility in Northern California last week. First responders combed through the wreckage with caution amid the threat of more explosions. They are now working to recover and identify those bodies.
The River Seine in Paris is closed to swimmers just one day after a long-awaited reopening. The mayor of Paris posted on social media that bacteria levels surged in the water due to heavy rains. So the city closed all 3 swimming sites along the Seine as a precaution. Public swimming resumed in the river yesterday after a $1 billion cleanup. No word just yet when the Seine will open once again to swimmers.
All right, a lot of people were waiting for that, and now they have to wait a little bit longer. All right, we're going to start this half hour here with the holiday beach alert. Tropical storm Chantal made landfall near Litchfield Beach, South Carolina, just a few hours ago. It is bringing dangerous rip currents now along parts of the East Coast, and ABC's Victor Oquendo hit the water to share new advice on how to handle them. Take a look.
We're in Melbourne Beach, Florida, searching for rip currents. In May, a young girl caught in a rip current, helped by a bystander using a drone to deliver a flotation device. Thankfully, she survived.
What makes a rip current so dangerous? They're out there every day, and surfers and watermen, we use them to our advantage to get out past the waves and enjoy them. But if you don't know and you bring your family from inland America somewhere, you can find yourself into trouble and it can be a fatal day.
We're focusing on 2 points that can help keep you alive. First, how to spot them so you can stay out of them. While rip currents can sometimes be impossible to see, there are clues you should look for. Here in Melbourne Beach, the most clear indicator are these dips in the shoreline where the water stretches further up onto the beach.
What I like to tell people is where there's a dip, there's a rip. Have you ever been on the beach and the tides come in and wet all your stuff, but the people along each side of you are dry? You're in the rip. Stay out of it.
Other signs can be found on the surface of the water. Look for white foam like this, or debris being pulled away from the shore. Or they could look like this, that flat area where the waves aren't breaking, created by a rip current. And the most obvious signs of danger, areas along jetties or piers, and of course red flags. When in doubt, ask a lifeguard.
Here we go.
Next, if you do get caught in a current, how to escape it. NOAA now says the age-old advice of swimming parallel to shore may not always work. So I put myself into one to show you why.
It's taking us to the left,
which is parallel to shore. So for me, that is not the safest path out.
The current can pull you to the left. It can pull you to the right. It can also spin you in a circle.
It's chaotic and disorienting. Human instinct wants you to fight for your life. But experts say it's that panic, exerting too much energy, trying to swim against the current that leads to death.
I just tried swimming against the current. I'd say I made it maybe 10, 15 yards, and you can hear me.
I'm out of gas.
Experts say most people can't swim more than about 50 yards without needing to touch bottom. If you get caught in a rip, you might have to swim 3 to 4 times that to get back to shore, meaning even if you can swim out of the current, you may not have the strength to get to safety.
I'm pretty tired. And the idea of having to go another 50 or 60 yards back to shore, I don't think I can make that.
So instead, experts now urging do less.
The key is not to panic. Let that current take you out and then flip and float. Some people call it floating like a leaf.
Legs up, back of the head against the water, and using only gentle movements. This will relax you, conserve energy, and help you stay above water longer. It'll also give you a beat to determine which direction the current is flowing. If you can, swim perpendicular to that direction, like swimming to the side of a river. When you no longer feel the pull, swim at an angle back to shore. If you can't, just float until help arrives.
Use your hands to signal somebody, and you should be okay.
For Good Morning America, Victor Oquendo, ABC News, Melbourne Beach, Florida.
All really solid tips. Thanks, Victor, for that. But I mean, so many things to keep in mind. Where there's a dip, there's a rip. So just really smart advice.
And that flip and float, because I've been caught in one of those, and it's really hard to swim out of it. So just relaxing is really key.
Don't
panic.
to panic, exactly.
We're on the couch, nice way, comfy couch. If you are done working on your tan this weekend, it's time to work on saving some money. That's right, Will Gans is here. He has been scouting out some holiday deals as hot as the temperatures. Will, what do you have?
Well, here's the gag. You can work on your tan and shop online at the same time to find the right. Just so
right
you
now,
know.
we're choosing one or the other.
All right, fine. If you have to focus on one, Prime Day officially kicks off on Tuesday, but some prices have already been slashed. So if you just can't wait to start shopping, here's some early Prime Day deals you can snag right now. The iRobot Roomba Plus, which is half vacuum, half mop, fully automated, and right now it's 50% off on Amazon for Prime members. That's a savings of like $400.
I think I need a new one because the one I have now chases my dog all around the house.
Yeah,
it's like
I think this one will
it's
still
like
chase
waiting
your dog.
for him to drop fur so that it can clean it up.
This one might be, a little bit more relaxed for Copper.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you're in beach mode or planning any picnics, check out this Ninja Cooler backpack.
Now we're
it's
talking.
perfect for hiking and camping, and select styles are 25% off right now before Prime Day even starts. For tech lovers, the Apple iPad Mini is available now on Prime at a 20% discount. It's available in 4 different colors for a total asking price of $399. Check back on Tuesday for Amazon branded products like Kindle, Alexa, and Ring for deeper discounts there. And other stores are keeping things competitive as well. Target Circle Week officially kicks off tomorrow with early access starting today for Target Circle 360 members. Discounts range from 40% off select bedding and electronics, 20% off bath towels and storage products. But if you do need to shop today, Target is running an early deal now on a portable air cooler / humidifier / fan. It's 69% off. Wow. Perfect for any Demi Lovato stands looking to keep things cool for the summer.
Cool for the summer.
Walmart
you were gonna work that in there somehow.
Walmart hosting its own sales event beginning Tuesday too. The retailer promising 50% off tech, 40% off outdoor equipment, and 30% off Lego products. And for any must shop today, ladies and gents out there, Walmart has a deal up now for washable area rugs at nearly 50% off online, different patterns and styles for anyone who might be doing a little summertime sprucing.
Also good for my dog too.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is like
Washable
this
rug.
is like the Copper segment.
Yes, exactly.
So many wonderful gifts. Lots of great dad gifts too on that list.
Mhm.
Okay, what about beauty items?
Yes. Okay. So right now at Sephora, you can take 40% off skincare, hair care, and beauty from brands like Sephora's collection, Rare Beauty, which is a Selena Gomez brand, and Tom Ford. At Ulta Beauty, up to 50% off skincare and hair care.
Yeah, some expensive stuff there.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
Will, thank you so much.
There you go.
Appreciate it. Coming up here on Good Morning America, former professional tennis player James Blake joins us to bring us up to date on the action at Wimbledon. Stick around. You're watching GMA on the Sunday morning.
We're back now on GMA with all the action at Wimbledon as the Grand Slam event heads into its final week. And joining us now, former professional tennis player James Blake, and now tennis analyst for ESPN. James, good morning to you. It's great to have you. Let's jump right into it here and start with the women, because American Emma Navarro knocking out the defending champ, advancing to the round of 16 and playing tomorrow. What do you think? You think she's our best chance of seeing an American take the title?
Yeah, well, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm not sure she's the best chance. She had a great match yesterday, played really well against Krejcikova. Sorry, it's tough to pronounce that one. But I think Amanda Anisimova has a great chance as well. She may have to come up against Sabalenka in the semis, but I think she's playing much better. She took a break a couple years ago and playing exceptional tennis. So I think she's got a chance as well.
And what about the men's side? Because we got Americans Taylor Fritz, Ben Shelton. They're also advancing to the round of 16. Fritz with a match today, so how are they looking?
Fritz and Shelton have looked great. Shelton hasn't dropped a set. Fritz had a really, really tough first 2 rounds. He played 2 guys that were 6'8", serving absolutely huge. He battled through both of those in 5 sets, and now looks like smooth sailing for him. I think they both have a really good chance to get further in this draw, but everyone's looking at the top 3 guys in this tournament, though.
And James, at the French Open, Carlos Alcaraz defeated Jannik Sinner in a thrilling 5-setter, the longest French Open final in history. Do you think it will come down to them again? And also they're playing on grass, so does that give one of them an edge on the other?
Yeah, I think there's still a very good chance it comes down to them, but I think Novak Djokovic is going to throw a wrench in it because he's playing so well. He's got so much success here. He's won it 7 times before. He's more accomplished than anyone at this site. So I think he's got a really good chance to beat Sinner in the semis. But I think if they do meet in the finals, Alcaraz definitely has a little bit of an edge on grass. He's won it the last 2 years here, and I just think he's figured out a way to move on grass better than anyone in the world, possibly with the exception of Novak Djokovic.
And speaking of grass, we know it's not a surface Americans typically play on. So what do they have to do to adjust in this tournament?
Well, it's a matter of figuring out how to move on it. That's the biggest adjustment. The grass, it changes too from day to day. With the weather conditions, it could be a little more slippery, it could be a little bit drier. So they have to adapt to that, and it's all about the little adjustment steps. Novak's done that so unbelievably well throughout his career. We saw the likes of Roger Federer and Pete Sampras accomplish that so well. But now it's a matter of figuring that out and adjusting from the clay to the grass here.
James, can we take a moment here to talk about Arthur Ashe? So legendary. Yesterday was actually the 50th anniversary of Ashe's historic win there at Wimbledon. You were pretty moved when you spoke about it. Tell us about his lasting impact on the game, what it means to you.
Yeah, his lasting impact is that I probably wouldn't have been playing the game if not for him. Serena and Venus talk about it. They have the legacy. Francis Tiafoe, Sloane Stephens, Coco Gauff, Madison Keys, Taylor Townsend, Haley Baptiste. That's his legacy, is because if he didn't go through and accomplish and achieve what he achieved and overcoming all the hurdles he overcame, that most people would have stopped. The resistance he faced to come into a very white sport and for him to prevail over Jimmy Connors that day, it showed so many people how much representation matters. And now to look at the game and to see it in great shape with the African-American community, his legacy goes far, far beyond the tennis court.
It certainly does, yeah. Well, James, thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday morning. Really appreciate it. Really looking forward to those games, too.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, anytime. And you can catch all the action at Wimbledon today on ESPN.
Thank you so much for starting your day with us. It was great to have Stephanie Ramos in the house this morning and Samara back too. Welcome back.
Happy to be back with you guys.
Great to see you guys. And of course, you can catch more weekend news coverage over on ABC News Live.
Great to be with you guys and with you at home. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.